Which of the YouTube fundies pisses me off the most? Ugh. Okay, he's a misogynist. He's, a homeschooler, nut bar, stand on the street and scream at people, nutty. But when he takes his own children and uses them as props out on the street, that in my mind is just reprehensible. And I'm not even going to show the pictures. It's just the man is just too disgusting for words. And I have to sympathize with children who are being raised by a sociopath. How much stock do you place in the idea that life on Earth may have been seeded from meteorite impacts? Panspermia is an interesting idea. I understand there's a couple of hypotheses about it, but I'm really not that qualified to give an educated, informed opinion on it. Are they falsifiable? Is there any evidence for it? One person who would be great to answer that question would be Rhyme Maiden One, because she's an actual honest-to-God scientist who deals with things like this. But beware, she will be brutally honest about it. Although she'll be nice about it too. What's the biggest wall I've had on YouTube? Some of them come in the middle of nowhere. A talk about something else. Prof MTH talking about some fundamentalist who had an adversarial relationship with reality, and I fell out of my chair when I heard that. Thunderfoot in his rant against some dropout, if you want somebody to learn your name, buy a parrot. That was another good one. But the one I've gone to more times for more laughs for a longer period of time, Coughlin 666 in his 20-minute rant against religious apologists. I'm a theist, but this is just funny as hell. If I was granted one wish, what would I wish for? Buckaroos. Gotta say that. I don't want to be filthy rich, but to have enough money coming in that I wouldn't have to worry about the rent or whether or not there's going to be food on the table, that would be cool. If I want to just go take some college courses just for the fun, go get another degree, or go do some volunteer work someplace and not have to worry about the income. That would be kind of cool. How much of the Bible do I think was actually inspired by God? Oy, that's a tough one. I think it's easier to determine what wasn't. You read a story about them going in and wiping out some city and killing every man, woman, and child, except for the virgin girls who they dragged off into sexual slavery. Okay, that's not inspiration. That's post hoc rationalization there. What guidelines do I follow? I really get irritated at the whole thing with dogma, because too many times dogma just clouds everything, and people get to talking about crap that doesn't make any difference in our everyday lives. Forget the dogma. Go with the concept. Don't stand there making a speech. Help that little old lady across the street. Some person who's deaf mute and helps his fellow man is infinitely more useful to the human condition than any televangelist who goes out there and tries to steal little old ladies' retirement checks. What's my favorite album from 1967? Well, without a doubt, it's got to be Arlo Guthrie's Alice's Restaurant. He talked in some long song about silliness of small town politics. He was anti-war. There's all kinds of stuff like that. Also, he's the son of Woody Guthrie, who was a well-known folk singer who's best known for talking about the hardships of working people, especially during the Dust Bowl era. He wrote the song "This Land Is Your Land." He died from Huntington's disease. And to bring it full circle, the reason that kind of strikes me is my ex-wife was diagnosed with Huntington's disease, which makes it kind of a small world. If given the choice to erase one of these traits from fundamentalists, which would it be? Bigotry or willful ignorance? And is there a passage or scene from a book, poem, or movie that inspired me to make life changes? I kind of killed two birds with one stone here. One thing that I found inspirational was in Dickens' A Christmas Carol, that was, at least in part, a rebuke against the inhumanity towards lower classes in England at the time. At one point, Scrooge sees some tiny feet sticking underneath the Ghost of Christmas Present's robe, and the ghost opens his robe to reveal two children. Scrooge is horrified at what he sees and asks, "Are they yours?" And with some irritation, the ghost replies, "They are man's, and they cling to me, appealing from their fathers. This boy is ignorance, this girl is want. Beware them both in all of their degree, but most of all beware this boy, for on his brow I see that written which is doom, unless the writing be erased." Wichita says, "What's that over there?" "Hang on, Lynette, let me look." "Oh no, ninjas!" "More gravy, please." "What's the opposite of blue?" "Well, according to my graphic software, it's yellow." If I could have my head replaced with the head of any insect, I don't have any particular favorite insect, but whatever it is, it's got to be something with really big antenna because, if you got to have the head of an insect, at least you got to have a decent Wi-Fi connection. Do I think the Phelps family gives Christians a very bad name? Hell yes. They give Christians a bad name. They give Americans a bad name. They give the entire human race a bad name, to the point that there are species out there that are refusing to acknowledge that they are even related to us. What branch was I in? I spent my entire life in the military, it seems like, because I grew up on military bases because my father was in the Air Force. When I was halfway through college / university, my father died and money for school dried up, so I went ahead and enlisted on the Air Force for 6 years. I was in between wars, and I'd never heard a shot fired in anger. I had worked on mainframe computers that whole time. Since getting out, I've been a computer consultant on federal contracts, mostly with Department of Defense. I worked in the basement of the Pentagon for a few years. God, what a dreary place that was. So it's like I've been in the military my whole life. Everybody loves Papa. You better stop saying that. I'm going to get a big head, man. Memorable story. I was attached to an A-10 wing. One thing that always stuck with me was out there watching women working on aircraft out in the open, rain or shine, heat or cold, nasty weather, whatever. That was an eye-opener for me, and as far as what women are capable of doing in the workplace. I got a chuckle out of it when some of them told me they went on a trip to Germany, and they're at a German air base, and German pilots walking by and just being dumbstruck that Americans allowed women to work on the planes. Okay, well, that's my random babbling for the week. So, and again, thanks again, guys. See the links in the sidebar for everybody who contributed questions, and we'll see you all later. Take care.